And no end to the bitter fight between Navjot Singh Sidhu and Captain Amrinder Singh. Newly appointed Punjab Congress Committee Chief Navjot Singh Sidhu's camp has rejected Captain's demand for a public apology over Sidhu's tweets against the Chief Minister. Congress MLA from Jalandhar Cant and close aide of Sidhu, Pargat Singh, launched scathing attack on Amrinder. He said that if somebody has to really apologize, it should be the Chief Minister himself because he failed to fulfill on the promises that he made to people. Earlier, Amrinder's supporter turned adversary, Cabinet Minister Trip Rajendra Singh Bajwa had advised Captain, in fact, to forgive Sidhu over his tweets. Captain, while meeting Congress Punjab in charge Harish Rawat on Saturday, had said that Navjot Singh Sidhu had made at least 150 derogatory tweets questioning and embarrassing the functioning of the Punjab Congress and the government. He's also refused to meet with Sidhu unless he tendered a public apology. Meanwhile, Sidhu faced farmers' anger at Khatkar Kalan near Nawa Shahar. The protesters belonged to Kirti Kisan Union, shouted slogans against him, showed him black flags. Sidhu then went to Khatkar Kalan to pay respects to Martyr Shahid Bhagat Singh.
ऐसे कई दर्जन OSD सलाहकार लगभग आधा दर्जन, अब कांग्रेस ने लगभग आधा दर्जन प्रेसिडेंट पंजाब के बनाए हैं। कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह की सरकार की नाकामी सरेआम हो गई। कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह और कांग्रेस, आ गया है सिद्धू, अब होगी कॉमेडी सर्कस और आप ठोकते रहना ताली। अब है कॉमेडी सर्कस की सरकार।
Now, with cases dipping in India, it's time for us to reopen schools is the question. An exclusive interview here to India Today. Dr. Randeep Guleria says that we must open schools in a staggered manner. Here's an exclusive report on that by Sneha Murdani.
Once bustling with chatter, fun, learning and laughter, teeming with energy and enthusiasm, schools worldwide have fallen silent. As the pandemic unleashed its ravage, the classes have moved online. The games, pranks and assemblies are long gone. The lessons are now confined to screens of our digital devices. Education is no longer what it was. But could it be yesterday once more? Could schools open their arms to students again? Yes, if you believe one of India's most respected voices in the COVID fight.
I'm one who is a proponent that we should work on a strategy for opening up schools because of multiple reasons. We need to have a mechanism, like you said, where the positivity rate is low. We can look at schools, half the school on one day and half on the other day.
Despite possibility of another wave, dipping cases are giving hope like never before. But the key will be laying out a careful roadmap and mounting effective surveillance.
If the cases rise, we can always close the schools down again. But having it closed for such a long time is causing more harm than good. And therefore, I personally feel that we should look at strategies for opening up schools in areas where now cases are very low.
The AIIMS chief stressed on the role of school in the wholesome development of a child, underlining its critical importance in imparting life skills.
I think opening up schools and having students coming physically has a lot of benefit. It's not only the e-learning, it's the character development, the social interaction that children have at school.
While vaccines for kids are on the horizon, the natural immunity in the young is also a big advantage that the kids enjoy.
The vaccine trial is doing well. It is now in the stage of observing to see for safety and antibody and the immunity. The recruitment is over, so I'm very hopeful that we should have robust data in September, and hopefully we should be able to then develop strategies for vaccination in children.
So is it time to breathe life back into our schools? And is it time for our kids to break the shackle of the pandemic?
The position taken by Dr. Randeep Guleria is a clear departure from what the government of India has said all this while. Clearly, this is a gamble. It is a risk. But how many parents and schools and authorities are then willing to take this risk? Opinion is clearly divided on this. But many parents say that this is an idea whose time clearly has come. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today.
I'm going to take you through some of those reactions coming in from those teachers and parents. Let's take a listen what they had to say.
मेरे विचार से अब धीरे धीरे देश के स्कूलों को खोलना चाहिए विद्यार्थियों के लिए। ऑनलाइन क्लासेस होती हैं, लेकिन ऑनलाइन में वो बात नहीं बन पाती जो ऑफलाइन आमने सामने बात होती है। आज की खास करके दिल्ली की स्थिति है कि कोरोना के केसेस मिनिमम हैं और 12वीं क्लास को बुलाकर शुरुआत की जा सकती है स्टैगर्ड वे में। मेरी इस बात में सहमति है कि जहाँ भी कोरोना केसेस कम हो वहाँ पर धीरे धीरे स्कूल फेज्ड मैनर में खोल दिए जाएं तो बच्चों की बेहतरी के लिए अच्छा रहेगा।
पेरेंट्स के तौर पे अगर देखेंगे ये सरासर गलत है और आज भी पेरेंट्स तैयार नहीं है अपने बच्चों को भेजने के लिए, क्योंकि सेकेंड वेव में जो मौत का तांडव मचा था दिल्ली में और पूरे देश भर में, उसको देखने के बाद आज की डेट में मैं एज ए पेरेंट मैं खुद भी घबरा गई हूँ और हमारे साथ बहुत सारे जुड़े हुए जो जितने भी पेरेंट्स हैं उन सब की तरफ से हम यही कहते हैं कि अभी सही समय नहीं है स्कूलों को खोलने का।
Now, the Supreme Court has come down hard on the Kerala government over easing of curbs for Bakrid. The top court slammed the Vijayan government, saying pressure from market groups cannot really be the reason for the state to ease COVID restrictions, and that shouldn't dampen our COVID fight. Not just the Supreme Court. In fact, the court has also told Kerala to give some heed to the court's top order it gave on Kavad Yatra. But it's really too late now. Easing of curbs ends today after 3 days of markets being open. Supreme Court too has acknowledged that, saying that the horse has now already bolted, so it's too late to pass an order. The top court just yesterday had posted the matter for today, issuing a notice to Kerala government. Now, these curbs were eased at a time when COVID cases are surging in the state of Kerala, reporting over 10,000 cases over the last few days.
The government of Kerala's political gimmick has been exposed. At least now onwards, Kerala government should plan the COVID containment on a scientific basis instead of taking political decisions for their political benefits on such issues. This is my request to the Kerala government.
Now, we're looking at monsoon rains that have thoroughly exposed Delhi's drainage system. Overflowing sewers, waterlogging on roads, traffic jams were reported in over a dozen areas of the national capital. Even one person lost his life in Pul Prahaladpur underpass while trying to make a video of the waterlogging area. In Delhi's Dwarka, a car was swallowed literally by a large hole as the road below collapsed. It caved in due to incessant rains. Later, the car was pulled out with the help of a crane. No one was hurt in this incident. Since last night, despite light rains there, light showers, there have been reports of vehicles stranded in knee-deep water, leading to traffic jams in several parts of the national capital. The opposition took a jibe at Kejriwal government, asking what happened to the promise of making Delhi a world-class city.
मानसून की पहली बारिश ने दिल्ली की सफाई की पोल खोल दी है। मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के द्वारा पीडब्ल्यूडी के द्वारा ये दावा कि हमने 100% नालों की सफाई कर दी है। भाजपा शासित एमसीडी मेयर्स का ये कहना कि एमसीडी के नालों की सफाई कर दी, तो फिर दिल्ली में जल भराव क्यों?
Now, monsoon brings respite from soaring temperatures, but in some states has also wreaked havoc by bringing floods, loss of lives and property. It's raining across India. The Met Department has issued a red alert in Mumbai city and hill state of Uttarakhand. Parts of Gujarat, Bihar are inundated. Roads turned into rivers in an overnight train. In fact, a situation where it rained overnight, a literal road there can be seen turned into a river. Here's a detailed report on ground.
Floods, loss of lives, loss of property, and tales of devastation. These are the scary images of the monsoon fury across India. After a long spell of heat, the national capital finally welcomed rain. But relief soon turned into misery as several parts of Delhi ended up waterlogged. In Dwarka, a road caved in. A car that fell into the gap had to be lifted using a crane. Mumbai's monsoon mayhem is far from over. Over 400 vehicles are underwater at a BMC pay and park basement in Kandivali, where water accumulated after overnight downpour. The BMC and fire brigade have now installed huge water pumps to remove water. The city has lost over 30 lives in rain-related incidents, including landslides, over the last couple of days. Heavy rain pounded parts of South Gujarat, throwing normal life out of gear in Valsad, Vapi and Navsari. Low-lying areas of Valsad district were flooded with underpasses and roads overflowing. Even vehicles were submerged for hours. Sudden floods in Bihar, Sarsaram became hours of nightmare for two men. They were stranded on a small patch of land, even as water gushed past them with no help in sight. Days after coping with the aftermath of Dharamshala cloudburst, Kangra is flooded again following heavy rainfall in the valley. Water entered the bus stand, shops and even residential areas. There is no relief in sight either. The Met Department has predicted intense rainfall across North India until Wednesday. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, Afghanistan Taliban crisis has intensified. At least 3 rockets landed near the Afghan presidential palace in Kabul during prayers for the Muslim festival of Eid al-Adha. Now, there were no injuries. Rockets landed outside the heavily fortified palace grounds. In fact, the palace is in the middle of a so-called green zone that is fortified with giant cement blast walls and barbed wires. The streets near the palace have been long closed off. The barrage comes as the US and NATO complete their final withdrawal from Afghanistan. Allah. Now, Afghanistan is going through its worst ever crisis after the US and the NATO forces began their withdrawal from the country after 2 decades. The country has now once again plunged into darkness, chaos, violence. Taliban is gaining stronghold, posing new threats for the world. India Today is the only news channel, the Indian news channel, they're reporting right there from the conflict zone. My colleague Ashraf Wani has filed this ground report from Kandahar.
A country in turmoil. Its future uncertain. The withdrawal of US troops has cast a huge shadow on stability in the troubled nation, especially with the sheer pace with which Taliban is expanding its stranglehold.
Kandahar city is the most important, we can say, a kind of a city which has an emotional attachment with the Taliban, because Taliban was ruling 2 decades back in Afghanistan, their main epicenter, and what in the common quotes the Taliban called Markaz was only this city, and they only want the control in the city.
The Taliban is just a few kilometers away from Kandahar, Afghanistan's second largest city. Afghan forces are fighting with their backs to the wall to hold them back.
इस पहाड़ के पीछे तालिबान ताक में बैठा है कि कब उसे मौका मिले और यहाँ कंदहार में अफगान फौजों पर हमला करे और उसके साथ साथ इस शहर में जो कि कंदहार का शहर अफगानिस्तान का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा शहर है उसमें घुसने में कामयाब हो.
For Taliban, Kandahar is vital because the city's jail holds 6,000 of its fighters.
The main focus of the Kandahar is, as I was mentioning, about this jail where most of the Taliban fighters are still captive. In fact, when there are operations, any Taliban who is being captured live is being brought to this jail.
On ground zero, the situation remains volatile.
We are ready for a war-like situation. The biggest problem is that we are short of weapons at the moment. We are always stronger than them in every fight. Most of our firing happens overnight.
Amid all the fighting, it's the innocent Afghan citizen who is suffering the most.
My son was about to be married and Taliban troops attacked my house and killed him. They didn't even spare my husband and people in my locality.
Many have fled the city. More are trying to escape. Peace appears to be a distant dream.
The Taliban forces are camping right behind this area. I had gone there once and they tore my clothes. The situation is very volatile at the moment.
In Doha, where negotiators have been meeting since September, talks have failed to yield results. The international community is worried. The two-decade-long conflict only seems to be taking a turn for the worse. With Ashraf Ani in Kandahar, Bureau Report, India Today.
It's now time for a short break. Coming up next, world's richest man Jeff Bezos